Hello, and welcome to Brand Clarity by Visions to Images, where we focus on strategy and business development for entrepreneurs at all different levels through branding and digital marketing techniques. Susie Liberatore is the founder and art director of Visions to Images Creative Services, LLC. For the last decade, she has personally been instrumental in bridging gaps between the global digital market and neighborhood locations for some of the biggest brands around. Growth is possible for even a single location with the right professional branding techniques and Susie's signature strategies of Visions to Images. Stand out from your competitors and bring your visions to life while watching your sales skyrocket. Your host for this is Susie Liberatore, owner of Visions to Images. Hello, everybody. Today on the podcast, I have Marsha Friedman. She's the founder of MEF Coaching and Consulting Group, and she's also an author and has a couple books out. So I'm excited to talk with her about all of the things. And we're going to talk today a lot about writing books and how to really pursue that dream project, passion project, however you want to put it. But it's a good topic to have. And I feel like more and more people are always thinking about writing a book. So tell us, Marsha, how did you get started in this field?
Writing a book?
Writing a book, everything. Tell us your story. Go for
it. Well, I had spent over 30 years in the corporate world. And in 2013, I was asked to take early retirement from my company. So that opened up a whole host of opportunities for me and came at a very critical crossroads for myself personally. I had lost my best friend the previous summer. And then at the time that just before I was asked to take early retirement, lost my second husband to a massive heart attack. And so taking this package to leave my company was like taking the third leg of the stool out from under me. So I spent some time regrouping and figuring out what I wanted to do moving forward. What occurred for me was a move from the corporate world into the entrepreneur world, where I opened my own coaching and consulting group in 2015. And along the way, through all of that healing and grief and reevaluation and refining my passion, came my first book, which is called Surviving and Thriving Despite the Drama.
Yes.
So I had that title. I had the outline of the book for a long time before I did anything with it.
Amazing. And what's the second book?
The second book is called Job Search Mastery.
Awesome. And that one's out yet or no, not yet?
Both books are out.
Awesome.
Yeah. I published Job Search Mastery in late October of 2020. That was my COVID project.
Awesome. There you go. Make something good out of COVID, right?
That's right. That's right.
I love it. So tell me what you're most excited about right now for your business.
Right now, I'm looking to expand my practice, and having the book Job Search Mastery come out in October, I'm now pursuing more work in terms of working with clients who are outwardly successful, but inwardly miserable in their careers. So it's the career transition folks that I'm looking to do more work with. And Job Search Mastery is a piece of that work because I've worked for the last several years as a co-facilitator of one of the job search networking groups here in Northeast Ohio, Summit Networking Group. So I've really gotten to understand on a very clear and personal level the struggles that job seekers, particularly senior level job seekers, go through when they're faced with devastating news that their career has ended with the company that they've been with for a long time. So it's a path that I have walked myself, but it's also a path that I've helped other people come out through.
I love that you are so passionate about that and kind of helping people, right? Like that's what you seem to really love and enjoy. So I know we were going to talk a lot about writing books and stuff like that. So tell me, what is the process for somebody to go through with writing a book? How do you And do they even need a publisher? Like, tell us a little bit about how you kind of jumped on that wagon.
Well, the first book that I have, Surviving and Thriving Despite the Drama, that was a passion project of mine. Again, because I had been through so many different dramas in my life, going back to a bankruptcy before my during my first marriage, divorce, being a single parent, raising my children for 9 years on my own, then finding the love of my life. And like I said, losing my best friend and losing my husband. And so I've been through the major losses that a person can go through in their life. Enough already. Right. And as I looked back on my own life, when I had that opportunity, I realized that there were certain things that I had done that allowed me to keep rebuilding my life, rebuilding my credit, refinding, love again. These are the things that were really important to me. And how did I do that? And that story of my reinventing my own life is one that I really wanted to get out, because the strategies that I followed are strategies that anyone can follow, who's dealing with some kind of life loss or transition or drama. So that's where Surviving and Thriving came from. And I had this project for a long time, all outlined, and I didn't know how to move it forward. And fortunately, through networking, I met a gentleman who it has a small private publishing company. So my first book, I worked with a book coach, and that's really what he does. His organization takes you through the process of getting the writing finished, editing the book, and getting it published. And so the first time I wrote the book, I actually paid a book coach to help me through the process.
Right.
When it came to writing Job Search Mastery in 2020, because I had been through the publishing process previously, I didn't hire anybody until I needed help at the end. So I did all of the writing and editing basically on my own. And I was more forward this time in having people in my community, like some of the other job seekers, read the drafts of the book and give me their input.
Right.
And that was really helpful, because I had a group of people who were willing to do that for me. And then when it came time, as we got closer to the publishing part, then I did hire someone who was a book editor and someone else who did the layout for me and the book cover, because those are things I'm not prepared to do myself. Right. And those were people that I found actually through Upwork. One of those online, hire someone to do the piece that you need. And so it was really a very simple process then to get that book completed.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love how you talked about coaching for the group for the first book, in a sense where I feel like everybody needs a coaching to some extent. And I know you also do some of that as well in consulting. And it's like one of those things where we might be able to do it, but we always doubt ourselves or don't put ourselves forward to do what we need to do. So having that support and that coach is so important. I mean, and a lot of times people come to me and they might not need me to implement things either for their branding or social media, but they still need that coach and that guidance. So coaching is just so critical, no matter where you are, what you're doing. If you're writing a book, whether it's branding and marketing, or just to help people with the job seeking end of things, for sure. Love it.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you could give your best advice to somebody who is thinking about writing a book, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, don't wait. That you don't have to worry about the details and the minutia of actually getting the book published. Start outlining it, start writing it down. There are people out there who are just waiting for whatever message you have. The other thing to think about is that writing a book makes you an expert, makes you, solidifies your authority on that topic. And so that's a really important thing to keep in mind. Your book can become your business card. You're not out there to become a bestseller. You're really out there to get your message across. Right. And having that book in your hand will open doors. You can use it to send to people who are organizing conferences and need speakers. You can send it to business acquaintances. You can send one to someone who just, is touched by your story. And it will open many doors for you.
Hey, let's stop for just 1 second during this podcast episode. I know you're so excited to get back and listen, but I wanted to chat with you and talk about how we really work with businesses. What we really do is we dive in and we ask so many questions. We go through a series of questionnaires and extensive research to really help you get a clear, identifiable plan of action that needs to happen for your business. If you want to hear more about this, go to visions2images.com, click the contact us button, and we will be happy to set up a time to chat more.
And the people that you need to take care of the detail, like the layout or the editing or the final publishing, they're available and out there. Again, I used Upwork to find the people that I used with my second book, but there are people available to help you with those details of publishing. I think the most important thing is to start writing.
I do have one more question. A lot of times people might think if they want to write a book, oh, it's going to cost too much, or oh, nobody's going to read it. Did you have those mindset issues at first?
Absolutely. Yeah. And yes, there was a bigger investment when I hired a book coach. Sure. But just like anything else, there is a need for that service. Yeah. And it was important to me to make that investment in myself and in my business.
Yeah, I love it. Do you have anything else you would like to share about coaching and consulting, or anything about writing books? I love this conversation.
Give yourself time. And I think the other thing is when you're writing your book, reach out to other people who may have an interest in the topic. And ask them to read a chapter or read a section. And you'll find people who are willing to support you, share their ideas with you, give you, their feedback, because these are the people who are going to be your readers.
Absolutely.
And I think the other thing not to be concerned about as much is the marketing piece. There's a lot to marketing a book. But having these folks who have read your book up front, they're also then willing to buy a book when it comes out. And they're also willing to give you reviews and testimonials. One of the best ones I had recently was from someone who is in the recruiting field, a good friend of mine. And I sent him a copy of my book. He read it. And he posted a beautiful testimonial on LinkedIn and Facebook, and like 2 or 3 or 4 places that he put it. And it was very nice. I've gotten a lot of good comments and feedback from that.
That's amazing. It's incredible. Yeah. And I was just thinking when you were talking, like if you ask for somebody for feedback, they can turn into a client who wants that book eventually too. Even if it's just one piece, they're going to say, oh, I really can't wait for it to come out. Definitely keep you posted, right? It is marketing in a sense to help gain that traction and that audience, but it builds, like you said, that authority as well. And people get excited about, reading it and then giving that feedback. And they're like, oh, I got first dibs on her book. It's exciting. And then they want more of it. So it's like a teaser in a sense as well. So I love that. Yes. And I have your information. I will post it in the comments. Is there anything else you would like to share?
No, I appreciate the time that we've spent together today. And if anyone has any questions about publishing or writing a book, I'd be happy to respond to those directly. I know I included my email in the information that I provided to you.
Thank you so much. That is so kind of you. Thank you for listening in on this episode today. Please make sure to check out the links from your guest and Visions to Images to learn more about each other. It takes a village, as you know, so connect and grow with one another together. Thank you so much for listening.